Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my garden. Today I'm giving a tour and I think this is going to be so helpful for folks who are new to gardening or thinking about getting into it, and that is because this is a first-year garden. We've been gardening for 5 years, but we did just move to this property, and not only that, we got here after the growing season had already started. So not only is this a first-year garden, but we only had time to put 4 raised beds in. We whipped it up pretty quickly, and I want that to show you guys that you really can grow. I think it's amazing what you can grow in a short amount of time. This garden was started on April 20th and it is now June 30th. So let's get started at one end and I'll show you. I have both vegetables and flowers here. So starting on this side, we have some herbs and some flowers all grown in these containers. These have holes drilled in the bottom of them for drainage. And over here, this is a beautiful container of Mrs. Burns lemon basil. This is a very bright lemony variety of basil. And a couple things to note here. I've already actually cut this basil back a couple times and harvested and dried it for my kitchen. And so what you're seeing here is kind of like the second and third growth. So actually the leaves were much more fuller, bigger, more beautiful when I had, first harvested them. But check out, I've let it go to flower. See that? Usually you'll harvest it for food before it goes to flower, but I'm using it as filler for my bouquets now because I have some other beautiful flowers and I'm gonna be setting some bouquets out at the end of my driveway this weekend, setting up my little market table. So that's some Mrs. Burns lemon basil. Over here I have some dill. Same story, the dill has already been completely whacked and harvested, but it's coming back now. So I will harvest this again. I already dried some dill, but I will be drying some more. Next up we have this beautiful flower. It's gonna be for cut flowers. This is called Pompous Plume Celosia. And we've got several pollinators on here, so I'm gonna stay back a little bit, but look how beautiful this is. This is for filler for cut flowers. And let me come around this way because I want to show you guys, it comes in different colors. Okay, yeah, we've got tons of pollinators coming here. This bumblebee just arrived. We've got some hornets. So yeah, anyway, you can see this is like a beautiful pink. I just love this. I'm going to be putting it as spike and filler in my bouquets this weekend. Coming around this way, these are some roses that have mostly already bloomed and gone, but it's called China Rose, and they actually trellis up this beautiful trellis, so pretty nice. Over here, this has not bloomed yet. Let me remember what it's called. Okay, yeah, so this is gonna be Cosmos, and these are gonna be like a beautiful, like bright fuchsia color Cosmo. That's gonna be cut flowers as well. It hasn't bloomed yet. Here we have okra. Look at these big, beautiful leaves. So this okra is going to be, once it starts fruiting, it is hard to keep up with. It grows so fast. I've had okra in the past grow like 6+ inches long because I didn't see it under a leaf and it just got huge before I had time to harvest it. And just along here is so exciting because this is Gomphrena and it's just starting to come out. You see these little white flowers? This is also kind of like a filler flower for a bouquet. And I will mention everything that I'm mentioning as flowers is my first year growing them. And every time I come out here, the bees are just loving these. I've seen them sleeping on them, landing on them. Look how cool. I'm absolutely loving this. So anyway, I haven't cut them yet because I can't bear to take them from the pollinators, but those are gorgeous. Next, I'm going to pan this whole bed. We've got several types of zinnias all along this row. I don't remember all the names of them, but You can see we have these beautiful like salmon colored ones here. These are like a beautiful lime and blush color. And then, oh my goodness, my giant wine zinnias. So pretty. I'm gonna be harvesting these and selling some bouquets later this week. So let's come on around the other side. I'm gonna show you guys some that I have set up in grow bags. So I've got these grow bags here. These are 5-gallon grow bags. I got them on Amazon. A little bit better lighting over here. And these I'm growing beans in. This is a green bean. It's actually a bush bean. But these two, you can see them trellising up this fence. I will probably extend this trellising by adding some reeds to this. I'm gonna take what are those things called? The plastic things? Anyway, I'm gonna extend this trellising up, but these are a really cool heirloom variety of black bean called Cherokee Trail of Tears black bean from Baker Creek, and I'm really excited to try those. Oh, you can see this one was another green bean and it is not making it. There's actually 2 green beans that aren't making it right now, and I had planted those 2 grow bags at the same time, and I had dug up some mulch, some soil and compost from a pile that was left here by the previous owners. I planted them on the same day, and they're the only 2 that are doing really badly, and so I'm wondering if there was some Roundup in there or some weed killer or just something that has contaminated that soil. So anyway, we will see, but there's always successes and failures in gardening. Let's move on to more edibles, some more vegetables here. In this row, we've got some slicer tomatoes, cucumber, and pepper. And you can see these tomatoes are like falling over. I usually keep my tomato plants aggressively pruned, so there's just a few main stems. You get some bigger fruit that way, but Daniel's rolling with, he's managing these this year and he likes a more minimal approach, and hey, it's working out. We're still harvesting tomatoes, but just a side note there. We only planted 1 cucumber bush, and let's see if we have one. Oh, let's see. There's a little cucumber right there. We only need 1 cucumber plant. We've already harvested like at least 12 off of this, and that's plenty for the 2 of us to eat. We have an orange jalapeno, orange bell pepper bush. You can see one kind of turning orange there. And then a regular bell pepper bush. We have harvested a ton of bell peppers for this bush. Some of them went into my homemade salsa, which I canned. I'll link that video. I canned a whole year's worth. Next, and my favorite, look at these beautiful serrano peppers. I have already made 1 batch of hot sauce, and I'm gonna be making more, which I'll do a video about that because I think it's really cool. And then these 2 are cherry tomatoes, and they are just like gangbusters, producing so much. I will link another video because I did a great recipe video. This time of year, so many of us have just an overflow of tomatoes, and this recipe is charred cherry tomatoes with Greek yogurt. It's a dip, and you eat it with bread, and it's from our family cookbook. My cousin's wife submitted it, and it is one of my new favorite things. So anyway, I'll link that. And then last but not least, I have a couple more grow bags here and 1 more container. This first one is a bush style green bean. This is the other one I was talking about that's just doing so poorly. Like, look, these 2 were planted on the same day, but I got the soil from different piles. So that's why I'm thinking that something's bad. And then this is my biggest okra bush. Look how big this is. So these leaves are just massive. So that's everything that we've planted this year, but there was some really cool stuff already existing on the property. I'm going to show you that now. So over here, this is actually a bay leaf tree. So I will be drying and harvesting those. And as we walk down the property, there's more edibles and medicinals as we get further. This tree here is a persimmon tree. There's lots of fruit on it, but it's still green. So I'll zoom in so you can see some of the fruits here. I actually personally haven't had persimmons in years, but they're like this beautiful orange color. And so I'm excited because I'm gonna see if there's a canning recipe I can do with them. I haven't had one since I was a child. So I'm excited about that. Right behind me here, this tree is a very important tree for women's health. This is the vitex or chaseberry tree. It's already flowered and now the berries are coming in, and I am gonna hopefully harvest these, and I'd like to dry the berries and make tincture with it. Vitex is very regulating for women's hormones, and it's thought that it does that by having an effect on the pituitary gland, which is super responsible for regulating a lot of women's hormones. So I'll talk about that more whenever I get around to doing that, hopefully making a video on that. And then last but not least, this area is very shady, so it's hard to see, but all of these are blueberry bushes. And because it's so shady, they're not quite ripe yet. We check it almost every day. They're still very tart, but we will definitely be picking those, freezing them, canning them. So that is the first garden tour, guys. Please keep in mind, we did all of this in just about, May, June, a little less than 3 months. So I wanted to remind folks that if you're new to it, the best way to get into gardening is to just start. You're gonna learn so much just from doing. We certainly did. And some things grow like weeds with hardly any care, and then other plants are a little more finicky. And you'll learn all that as you go, but I just want to encourage that. It's the end of June, beginning of July. For a lot of places, you still have time to grow things before the first frost comes in. All you have to do is check when the first frost date is for your area, and then you check, whether you buy seedlings, so little plants that are already started, or whether you buy seeds. Just check the days to maturity, and if the days to maturity is before your frost date's coming, you can still grow this stuff. So anyway, I hope that was fun, informative, gave you some ideas. Please feel free to leave questions and comments. Please stick around and subscribe, because I've already mentioned a lot of cool videos coming up, and we appreciate you watching. Have a wonderful day.